live stream with confidence. Content is king. Welcome to another epic video. Your host is Frank Bello. Let's get started.
Yes, good evening. Good evening, all. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, my avid viewers all over the world. Yes, I salute you and I bring each and every one of you a good tide. I sincerely hope that I meet you all well, in top form and in great spirit. Yeah, welcome to another epic video, all the way from this end of the dispatch box in London. I'm your host. Frank Bello is my name. Nice to have a handful of you. Today's date is Thursday, the 29th day of January 2025. Yes, just as you can see right in front of your screens. And the time currently in London is exactly 1824. Also, as you can see in front of your screen. Now, if this is your first time joining us on this great platform, please endeavor to like, subscribe, and follow us on both Facebook and YouTube. It's been a while, and many of you would probably see that I have not been coming live constantly, especially in the run-up to the new year and towards the tail end of last year, 2025. Yes, a lot's been going on, and to be quite honest with you, I am not surprised at all that my predictions over the years, for the benefit of those of you who's been with me for a considerable number of years, will notice that all the predictions that I have been making are coming to pass. And that's why I wasn't really bothered to be talking much about them, because I've done that time after time, consistently, in the last 8 to 10 years on this same platform from this end of the dispatch box. What we want to talk about today, that's been on my mind since my last stream, Thursday, January the 8th day of 2026. I've had this topic close to my chest, and I've been looking at the different ways and the different angles that this particular topic should be presented to you. in a format that a lot of people would take that in. And the topic basically is titled Breaking the Nigerian Mould. I remembered a few couple of years ago, I staged a spectacular show on the mold within the contraption called Nigeria. But this time around, Breaking the Nigerian Mold Part 1 is exactly what I want to talk to you all about. You see, because I've been working on different ways of how to present this particular stream to you. So the idea came last 2 weeks, and I had no options other than to put the slides on the board within Nigeria. You see, if we have to revisit our history, we have to back into where we were coming from as Nigeria. What went wrong? How did we get to a state of decadence paralysis, a state of disrepair? And believe you me, we have to seriously and curiously ask ourselves, where should we go henceforth? Did you get that? Where did we come from? How did we get to where we are? And how are we going to navigate the turbulence that is currently confronting Nigeria, despite the fact that it was fraudulently molded up together? Part 1, Breaking the Nigerian Mold. Now, let me give you an idea. Now, when we talk about mold, what am I referring to as a mold? M-O-U-L-D, mold. What do I refer to as a mold? And I want you to please picture your mind as to the reasons why I chose that topic, and underscore the word mold, M-O-U-L-D. You see, when we look at that word mold, I want you to picture your mind to the contraption called Nigeria, and the reasons why I am describing the ridiculous contraption called Nigeria as a mold. A mold is a type of microscopic fungus that grows in multicellular branching filaments. Most especially, you find a mold in damp places. You find mold in organic materials. And one thing that is pathetic about mold is that it spread violently and it is airborne. For instance, somebody who's got asthma or an asthmatic patient will not be able to survive very comfortably in an environment where mold is thriving. Most especially, now I want you to picture your mind to Nigeria. Mold thrives very, very successfully in warm environment, moist environment, and an environment that is poorly ventilated. Mold, in a simplistic term, is a dead organic matter. Now, picture your mind to that ridiculous contraption called Nigeria and the reasons for my description of the country as a mold. Nigeria is blessed with a warm climate, isn't it? Tropical country, very, very hot. I've spoken to someone today in Lagos, and they said Lagos is roasting today. Now, picture Nigeria very carefully. Very hot, moist, and the country is poorly ventilated. So we then have a situation whereby the spread and the disease of political cankerworm and the political vultures preying on Nigeria are able to thrive because Nigerians are dead people. They cannot reason. They don't have any thinking or reasoning faculty 65 years after independence. Nigeria is indoor. Nigerians are locked up in a terrible mess. And what you hear these days is how can they bring the alliance of disgruntled criminals. I repeat, the alliance of disgruntled criminals back into power. Alliance of disgruntled criminals, ADC, back into power. Now, is Nigeria not a mold? MOULD. Is Nigeria not a microscopic fungus that grows in multicellular branching filaments. Nigerians are those multicellular branching filaments that are trapped in a damp contraption. Where did we come from? Let me show you where we came from. Good evening. Anibolaji, good evening. Where did we came from? I told you I've been looking for ways on how to present this to this live stream through to you. And perhaps many of you probably don't realize the fact that Nigeria was once a fantastic country. It was once a great nation before independence. Yes, before independence in 1960. Used to be fascinating. Used to be a vibrant country. Before independence, many of you probably you've never seen this before, but this was Nigeria. That was Nigeria. You can clearly see that right in front of your screen. Because before independence, Nigeria was a British colony. That was a copy of the Nigerian passport before independence. British passport, Nigeria. Exactly. That was your passport. That was exactly where we were coming from. When my late father, may so rest in peace, Zacchaeus Andrew Bello, ZAB, who was the very first civil engineer to be produced in the old Western region, who was exempted from the London matriculation and got admitted straight into the Imperial College in London to read civil engineering. Traveled to the UK immediately after World War II on this same type of passport, British passport, Nigeria, because Nigeria was a British colony. That was where we were coming from. And here is another one for you. You can clearly see that. British passport, Nigeria. This was where we were coming from. And the country was indeed very fascinating at the time. And that was the same passport. That was where we came from. Perhaps not many people realized the fact that Nigeria was once a fascinating country. This was where we came from. What happened? What happened? I will leave that topic for another day. Just like I made it known to a handful of you. What about the Nigerian flag? What about your flag? Do I bring that in? Yes, I brought it into the studio. Let me see if that is in already. Yes, it is in. And you can clearly see that. See, that was the Union Jack, Nigeria national flag before independence. You can clearly see the symbol, the Star of David, or the Seal of Solomon. This was your flag with the crown and Nigeria inscripted in it. The question now is, what went wrong? Greed, corruption, bribery, nepotism, tribalism has been plaguing the country for such a long time. You heard. Greed, corruption, nepotism, tribalism has been the order of the day in a contraption called Nigeria. Yeah, let me just get that out of the way. And yes, see, in the run-up to 2027, I want to tell you and I want to show you vividly. Let me bring those graphics in. I've got yeah, I think yeah, let me just bring that in, and this one as well. You see, it is not easy. It is not very, very easy, because 2027 will either make or break Nigeria. And the race towards the 2027 agenda Nigeria 2027, that race, Nigeria is about to decide again in 2027. Yes, Nigeria is about to decide their future again in 2027. You see, what really matters at this stage that I truly want to talk about is this man. Peter Obi 2027 political sentiments of one term of 4 years. Lies and scam. Peter Obi's lies and scam. Has Peter Obi been truthful to Nigeria? The answer is no. I don't care what anybody wants to say. And if a handful of you remember, I was particularly not happy with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's ambition of 2027, because I still believe he was in a better position to dismantle Nigeria as a foremost Yoruba leader. During those days of the agitation in 2020, I was a bit skeptical about Nnamdi Kanu because I still believe that Nnamdi Kanu was pushing the Biafran agitation the wrong way. I strongly believe that, and I dissociated myself and I told the Biafrans to fight their own battle, and that we, the Yorubas, will fight our own battle. I'm a very proud conservative Yoruba man. I'm Yoruba to the core, to the bone, to the blood, undiluted. Now, this man, Peter Obi, I want to tell the whole world, and the fact that the world should not forget the fact that this same Peter Obi, this is a sensational gist, and I want to briefly tell you details of Peter Obi's contribution in the killing, bombing, maiming, and driving away the strugglers for democracy to impress Sani Abacha. Peter Obi worked for Abacha. During Abacha's period. Yes, he did. And I think I made it known in one of my podcasts, to which I outlined the political deception in Nigeria. And I'm not going to go back on my words. I maintain my stand. There's a lot more that I am going to reveal, particularly about Peter Obi. You see, in the presentation that I did exclusively on Peter Obi, I made a quote, Etu Peter Obi, a quote by Julius Caesar in William Shakespeare series. I read Julius Caesar and Macbeth and some of the great works for my ordinary level English literature back in Nigeria in those days. So Etu Brutus was it, but I used Etu Peter Obi. Even you. And the quote was Caesar's last words to Brutus, which translates to even you too, Brutus, in Julius Caesar's assassination. Is Peter Obi about to assassinate Nigerians? Is the question. That was why I said Etu Peter Obi. Etu Obi. Is Obi about to assassinate Nigerians again after he assassinated them during the brutal regime of General Sani Abacha? You see, before Julius Caesar was assassinated, Julius Caesar was warned by a soothsayer in that fantastic piece of William Shakespeare's series. And what the soothsayer said to Julius Caesar was that, beware the Ides of March. So I am saying this again in quote to Peter Gregory Obi. Beware the 2027 general elections. Now, using Caesar and Brutus as an example will now lead me to question the character of Peter Obi. Who is Peter Obi? Many of you don't seem to remember that Peter Obi was a follower of Atto Nzeribe. Atto Nzeribe, who came up with the idea of Association for a Better Nigeria, ABN, under the brutal regime of Sani Abacha. So whilst the likes of Professor Wole Soyinka, Pa Abraham Adesanya, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and many others that were inside Nadeco were fighting Sani Abacha that nearly cost them their lives. Peter Obi was romancing Sani Abacha in conjunction with Arthur Nzeribe, and you, Lord, know exactly who Arthur Nzeribe was. So, for Peter Obi to must have romanced Arthur Nzeribe and Sani Abacha at the time, this gives you an idea of why Peter Obi lied to Nigerians, and the argument to buttress my presentation that he cannot, and I repeat, Peter Obi cannot be president of Nigeria. He ought to be smart. He's not smart. Secondly, the lies and the deception by Peter Obi, Nigerians must never forget. Nigerians must never forget his lies. Thirdly, this is an exclusive or a sensational gist containing details of Peter Obi's contribution to the killing, the maiming, the bombing, and driving away strugglers of democracy to impress Sani Abacha those days. Add to Peter Obi, even you, Peter Obi. Peter Obi and Nadeco Democracy Day. This is the biggest collective lie of all time in Nigeria's political journey. Peter Obi is talking about June 12th as the collective democratic goal of all lovers of democracy in Nigeria is the greatest insult to all fighters of democracy. I don't intend to make this, and I don't intend to spend a long time here. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to continue, because that's why I have serialized this podcast for those that are outside the UK, Europe, the United States, and the other parts of the world that they've got bundles of data to watch the stream. So I'm going to limit tonight's podcast to just an hour or under an hour. And then tomorrow, we will carry on with the part 2. And in that part 2, tomorrow, Friday, I am going to give you details of how Peter Obi betrayed the lovers of democracy of June 12th. The time currently in London is 1902. Listen, guys, you want to hear the part 2 and the exclusive gist. Join me tomorrow and I will tell you everything that you need to know about Peter Obi. Peter Obi is a fraud. I will tell you exactly the game the North wants to play with him. So thank you, guys. I'm going to make it very short and simple for those who may wish to watch the show later on. Anibolaji, Love Doris, Omolara, Omibeku, Urwale, Osaro, Benjamin. I believe that you are from Benin. Okay, guys, let's meet tomorrow for that spectacular edition of part 2. And until that time, take good care of yourselves and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good evening. Thank you and enjoy yourself. Goodbye.
New Media TV. Beyond the headlines. News in its purest form. If you've enjoyed this video or any of our podcasts or live streams, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, follow us, comment, share, and subscribe to our channels on Facebook and YouTube for more engaging content. We keep it simple, and your experience matters to us. It motivates us to provide you with more inspiring digital information. Liberty Media Communications. Live stream with confidence. Fewness of words, greatness of deeds. We empower people worldwide to stand up for their social or ethical principles of freedom or entitlement. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. See you in our next video or live stream.